22, Triple H. The number 23 was the Hurricane. 24 was Farouk. 25 was Mr. Perfect. Number 26 was Kurt Angle. 27 was The Big Show. 28 was Kane. 29 was RVD, Rob Van Dam. And number 10 was Booker T. So a couple things to point out here. This would mark the return of a few people in this. This would be Goldust's return. This would be Val Venus's return. Godfire's return. Mr. Perfect's return.
Mr. Perfect. And we're going to have another shocking stat in there, too.
Yeah, so we start out with Rikishi, Goldust here. Bossman would enter, then followed by Bradshaw. Bossman would actually be the first one out here. And then Lance Storm would enter. He'd be the second eliminated. And the third eliminated would be Bradshaw. But Undertaker would come in here. He'd eliminate Rikishi. He'd eliminate Al Snow and Billy. He'd eliminate Matt and Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, he cleaned house.
Yeah, he'd come in there kind of clean house, which I was fine with. Well, first, he was in there on his own. That is Taker. Yeah. And then then the Hardy Boys music would hit. Then Matt would come out, and then him and Alito would try to beat him down. Then I guess he was getting ready to eliminate Matt, and then the Hardy Boys music hit again, and it turned out to be Jeff.
Yeah. How funny.
So then they both would double team Taker. Then they'd all three of them would just stomp him, just stomp the crap out of him. And then
Team Extreme reunited that night because they were coming off their feud.
Oh yeah, their little feud they had in late 2001.
Yeah.
So then so they both double team him, hit the Extreme Combo, would hit the Twist of Fate, which really was, I guess, really a neck breaker, but didn't really get it right. Then Jeff hit the Swanton, but despite all that, he'd still find a way to eliminate both of them.
Yeah, I don't.
And then Maven would enter, and then he'd get distracted by all three of them. That is Matt, Jeff, and Lita. And then Maven would drop kick him from behind, which would eliminate him in one of the biggest, probably upset eliminations or shockers in Royal Rumble history.
Yeah, but what happens afterwards to that poor man?
Yeah, this is probably my favorite part of the whole Rumble.
No offense, Maven.
Yeah. I don't know. Who cares, I guess. But Undertaker would then, after he'd eliminate him, he'd proceed to just beat the living hell out of him. He'd he'd throw him through the middle ropes, and then he'd
well, when he first got eliminated, he was just soaking. He looked like he was just soaking in that. Holy crap!
Like, I just got eliminated by Maven.
Yeah, and then finally, when he came to realization,
then he turned around, and he looked him right in the eyes, and then Maven was trying to back off, and then he just started kicking that.
He was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!"
Yeah, so then he'd crack over the head with one, probably the deadliest chair shots ever.
Yep, and
then he'd bust him open, and then he wouldn't stop there. Well, actually, while he's beating him off, Scotty 2 Hotty would enter, and then he just punches him out.
So continue. Bring Maven back in the ring.
Yeah, so then, so he could eliminate him.
Just so he could, throw his ass out of the ring.
Yeah.
And then they take it to the crowd.
Yeah, they battle all the way up there, and then during this, Christian would make his entrance.
They cut it.
They cut to the stands where he's just up there and
puts his head through
the popcorn machine.
Yeah. Starts eating the popcorn, man.
And
Undertaker starts eating the popcorn afterwards.
Well, it's fun. Well, it looked like security was having a
hard time
with this because there's one guy who's really he's tripping over freaking him. They're tripping over Maven, it looks like, and then the security's doing their damnedest to try to make sure that they separates them forever. They must have not been ready for that.
WWE security at its finest.
Well, yeah,
I mean, that's right. That was probably real security, but what I mean.
Yeah, that was probably just the building security that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could tell they were not ready for that.
No.
Then DDP would enter, and Chuck Godfather would make his entrance, and by the time he got in the ring, they'd have to have Albert come in next because it just took that long.
Yeah, brought out his hose, man. Brought out his hose.
Yeah, what a time. What a time, man.
Yeah.
Then of course Saturn would enter. Then Austin would come in. He'd clean house as well. Austin would.
He would eliminate Christian and Chuck, and then eliminate them again.
Yeah, just because he had time on his hands, I guess.
Yeah.
He'd also eliminate Perry Saturn. He'd eliminate Val Venus. He'd eliminate Test. And eventually it was just down to where he was alone in the ring again. Then Triple H's music would hit, and which is probably like a perfect way of doing it at that point. Like, just the perfect guy to send out there when he's on his own.
Yeah.
Those two would battle. Then while they're fighting, then the Hurricane would enter, and then he'd both try to choke slam him. Then they kind of look at each other like, this guy? Really? And then they both toss him out and eliminate him.
Yeah.
Good comedy there.
Yeah.
The next Farouk would enter. Mr. Perfect would enter. Kurt Angle would enter. Of course, Big Show, Kane, RVD, Booker T, like I'd mentioned. Remember Big Show, he came in there, and then Kane would enter, and then he'd actually pick up Big Show and like slam him over the ropes.
Eliminate him himself.
Yeah.
So then he would get eliminated.
But then he get eliminated really quick.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I have the elimination. I have the times that guys were in the ring too. So yeah, Kane lasted 1 minute and 2 seconds actually, which wow, that's pretty bad.
And you know what? But you know what's another fun fact? That is the year after he set the record of eliminations. Think about that.
Yeah, I guess yeah. So so then Rob Van Dam would enter. And then Kurt Angle was already down in perfect position. He hit the 5-star frog splash. The only thing he'd do in this match.
Yeah.
Because then,
Triple H would kill his momentum.
Triple H kills momentum right off the bat, hitting him with the pedigree.
Who else but Triple H?
Yeah, kind of what he did all though too, when they would feud later in the year, I think. Then Booker T would enter. He'd get rid of Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam was only in there for 2 minutes 12 seconds. Then Booker T, actually, he gets stunned really quick into this because he'd eliminate Rob Van Dam. Then he hit the spinner Rooney. Then Austin would catch him and he'd stun him, and then he'd have one of the biggest oversells probably of all time. And then he'd just go flying over the ropes because I guess that stunner just made him fly over the ropes.
I guess so.
Yeah, so he was in there for only 33 seconds, shortest time of anyone in the Rumble. So,
and he was
the number 30 entrant into the match. So that is, wow, that's kind of funny. So another thing to point out here is with Undertaker, he eliminated Maven, which is interesting, just because we pointed that out. But I guess it's funny how he eliminated a guy that eliminated him, so he wasn't really even. He wasn't in the match because he was eliminated.
Yeah. But
he came back in and eliminated the guy who eliminated him. So.
Yeah, man, that sounds familiar. Of something like that.
Oh yeah, no, it's happened before, but it's
happened many times.
Yeah, but and another thing to point out was this was Austin would get his 36th career elimination in this Rumble, which was a
holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Which was a record held for 8 years until Shawn Michaels would break it in the 2010 Royal Rumble.
Oh, yeah, because he was on a mission that Rumble.
So,
he would come up short, but...
So, So then in the Final Four here, Final Four would have Austin, Triple H, Mr. Perfect, wow, and Kurt Angle. It's just interesting thinking that Mr. Perfect was in, like, the Final Four at this point in time.
But wait, there's another fun fact.
Oh, yeah?
Because he would also be in the Final Three.
Oh, yeah, but we were getting into that.
Yeah.
But, so then Austin would get eliminated by Kurt Angle. So then first Austin would try to go after Mr. Perfect, which is kind of weird because Angle was the one who eliminated him.
Yeah.
Maybe he was just confused or whatever. But then he'd finally get back in there and he'd crack everyone and like left in the match over the head with the chair. Classic Austin.
He would just hit Triple H because why not?
Yeah, last one for good measure.
Yeah.
So then the final three would be Mr. Perfect, Kurt Angle, and Triple H. The final three of the 2002 Royal Rumble match.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. I remember I watched this back years ago. I mean, I watched it back obviously for the purpose of the show, but I remember watching this one back years ago. I was just thinking to myself, wow, Mr. Perfect was in the final three of the Royal Rumble in 2002. That's just crazy to think about.
Yeah.
But, yes, and of course, Mr. Perfect, he'd get eliminated by Triple H, and then it would be down to Kurt Angle and Triple H.
Not a bad final two. They spread out for a little
great
bit.
final two.
Yeah.
But, then of course Triple H would eliminate him, and then he would go on to win the 2002 Royal Rumble match, and he'd go on to the main event of WrestleMania 18. Yeah, actually this time go on to the main event, because I know they say that many times in the past, and they would not go on to the main event at all. Eventually, I think now or whatever later on they should just dubbed it as, well, the winner of this gets a championship match of their choosing at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So I get that there's Money in the Bank. It's like, they get a championship match of their choosing, like world title match anytime, any place, anywhere. But with the Rumble, it should just be they might as well say championship match at WrestleMania because they say it's the main event, and more often than not, it was not the main event. There's even been times it was the opener of WrestleMania.
2012, 2011.
Yeah, they're both the opener. I mean, that's disrespectful, and that just devalues the championship in my opinion. So Triple H would win the 2002 Royal Rumble. Overall, I thought it was a pretty good Royal Rumble match. Went ahead and gave it a 3.5. I think we both agreed.
Yeah, 3.5. 3.5. My only issue with it is that there was a lot of times where there was only one person just standing there.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that either. I mean, no, you know me. I like when it just piles up. There's it's like a ton of people in there. I know it's not like that every time, and some of the greatest Rumbles have been like where it wasn't like that. I mean, like the 2001 Rumble we just covered recently. Mm-hmm. Great show, but I even thought that the Rumble match itself was just great as a whole, and that one never really got that way. Mm-hmm. But overall, I thought it was a pretty good show. I think we both agreed we'd go ahead and give it like a 7. Yeah, good Rumble.
Yeah, it was a good Rumble.
No complaints on my end. Well, let me backtrack. When I say no complaints on my end, doesn't mean I loved everything about it. No, but I mean, whenever it's a good show, I can't complain.
Yeah.
I can't complain if it's a good show.
They might have like a little small tweaks in there, but whatever. What are you gonna do?
To me, I always think it's just great when they. To me, what really can define a year sometimes is if they hit the big 4 right when it comes to the main 4, Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. When they get those right, that really to me can define a year. It doesn't mean they always will. It doesn't mean it always turns out that way, but it just whenever they can, it's just to me always is a really good thing. Yeah. And then all the pay-per-views in between, you hope for those to be good. But as long as they get those main 4 right, that I think is most important.
They did,
because you're gonna have your average pay-per-views in between, and
they did. They definitely did that last year. I'd say.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I think they got the big 4 right because Rumble was really really good. Mania was great. SummerSlam was pretty good. Survivor Series was good. Yeah, so they got it right.
Yeah.
The only problem with that year is they got that right, but
you couldn't get anything else right.
Correct, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 other pay-per-views, and of course Raw was a chore sometimes.
I know.
And then SmackDown wasn't always the greatest either. But yeah, that's pretty much all we got for this Royal Rumble of 2002. But before I get down into the stuff that I always have to point out at the end of every show, of course, what we
the social media,
everything. I mean, this is something I do sometimes too, but just like to give you a little rundown of what to expect coming up the next month here. We have the course Royal Rumble of 2011. That's next week's JNC Rewind. That'll be JNC Rewind number 11. This is of course number 10. That'll be the last of the Royal Rumble JNC Rewinds for the year, which is actually sad because we've been doing this really for the better part of of course this month and the previous month. Yeah. I had a lot of fun doing these.
Yeah. No, you know which one I wish we would have done? The 05 one, because I want to see Vince McMahon rip his quads getting into the ring.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But that'll definitely be one we do down the road, no doubt. But, that would have been one. That's the thing. I think when I was looking at the shows, it's there's that Rumble, with Cena and Batista and all of them and everything, and that would have been cool. But if you look at the rest of the show, it's really not that good, so.
No.
At least not that I remember, of course. Sometimes when I rewatch the stuff, I actually surprise myself, either by how good I thought something was and then it wasn't right. Sometimes I actually surprise myself and things are actually better than I remember it.
I know the championship match. I think the one championship match was Big Show and JBL. That show.
Big Show, JBL, and Kurt Angle.
Oh, and Kurt Angle. Oh, that was
Yeah, it was a triple threat.
The Rumble.
Yeah, Rumble 5.
Oh, you're still and. Yeah.
I don't even remember what Triple H was doing. Was it Triple H and...
I think it was Randy Orton.
I thought it was, yeah. That could have been. But, coming up in the next month, of course, we got the Royal Rumble of 2011. That'll be next week's JNC Rewind. And, of course, next week, we're going to have the Royal Rumble 2020 review and recap. That'll be our first ever Royal Rumble review and recap, minus the